Welcome to Podcast Editing Basics with Audacity. This is part 6 in a series. In this video, I'm going to talk about reading waveform data. In this video, I'm going to talk a little more about the art of editing instead of the sort of science or previous skills of editing I talked about in previous parts of the same series. So the art of editing comes in a little bit of identifying patterns within the waveform data in Audacity. This takes some time to get used to. Unlike the previous videos where I talked about different skills we can use, where we can cut, copy, paste, delete, or duplicate, as well as affect different tracks, mute them, mute other tracks, rearrange things. Skills you can learn just through sort of clicking buttons. This takes a little bit more time to learn, and some patience to realize certain patterns within the waveforms, and then know what things to apply from there. So let's start with some simple examples. I want to highlight something right up here, this first track from 26.654 to 28.225. This right here is a very short sound, something like this, or probably a laugh or a cough or a noise of some sort. I know this because waveforms should have a simple ebb and flow. Look over here, this previous part of the first track. Notice it sort of moves up and down, up and down, up and down as I was speaking and recording this. Think of it as the ocean with ebbing and flowing during a normal conversation. If you're seeing short spikes of data, it's probably some type of laugh or cough or noise or something like that. So it's worth investigating then, instead of listening to this, finding this very specific moment and thinking about, is this something I want to keep in? Is it maybe a laugh I could keep within this audio track? Or is it more of a noise like a bark or a cat meowing or some type of animal noise I might want to take out? But it's understanding that pattern then and then acting on it. Something else I want to highlight are these little tiny ticks right here. See, look, these little bit straight lines. These are more likely than not probably noise within this track, and so then could probably be removed, as I showed in the previous part, using the noise reduction from the effect menu. So if you're seeing little tiny things, it's probably noise, so which case could be safely removed. But it's understanding and looking at these waveforms and figuring out, is this actual spoken waveforms up and down and ebb and flow, or was it short stops? There might be something we could actually take out, a noise of some sort, or maybe a cough that could safely be removed from these tracks. The other thing I want to highlight again, and as I spoke about in a previous video, if you're seeing consistent things like this low-level consistent forms, it's probably buzzing or static or something like that. And you can attempt to take it out using noise reduction. But if you can't take it out, if you have multiple tracks, and in an earlier track, depending on how you want to look at your arrangement, someone else is speaking or there's noise in something else, you can actually highlight the other tracks and simply silence them in the corresponding time slot. So notice up here, there is some type of spoken word or something going on that has clear, nice ebbing and flowing waveforms. But down here now, I've silenced everything else in the rest of the tracks. This is different than how you might want to edit music compared to spoken word. In music, you definitely want to leave in the other tracks. You want to hear drums in the background, you might want to hear a good bass in the background, so you want to constantly hear things as music is going on. With spoken word, most of the time, but not always, but most of the time, you can safely silence the other tracks within a project and just hear a single spoken voice. This is especially true if you have multiple recordings of other voices within a project. So while one person is speaking, unless people are having a dialogue back and forth, you can probably safely silence the other tracks just so you're not hearing background buzzing or chairs moving or other things that might have been picked up on a recording of other tracks. So these are 3 different ways to approach reading these waveforms. If you're seeing short forms like this, it's probably noise or coughing or laughter or something like that, and worth investigating short spikes in data like this. If you're seeing a lot of smaller sort of tick marks within the data, smaller things, it's probably noise, so more likely than not could be removed using noise reduction effects within Audacity. Finally, if you're seeing a consistent pattern of little small waveforms, it's probably static or buzz or something like that. You can attempt to move it with noise reduction, but if you can't do that, a good general practice is I actually just silence that track if other people are speaking at the same time. And that will cut down on that general noise, the general buzzing in one track, and allow another person and another track to be speaking at the same time. Again, thinking of the differences between spoken word, where you want a clear, consistent audio, as opposed to music where you definitely want all the tracks playing at all of the time. Thanks for watching.